Hey everyone, Lord Tremendous here. Got another battle report here for you. 2,000 point battle report in 199. This is a 3-game tournament, local gaming store that I was at. That's why it's 2,000 points instead of my usual 2,500. But for the most part, it was a good tournament. Actually, it was a great tournament. I had a lot of fun. But 2,000 points because we have some newer players and stuff like that that just didn't have 2,500 point battles or 2,500 point armies. Yay, words! And so we decided to do 2,000 points so that everybody could play. And it's a little awkward, I won't lie to you. I'm not used to playing lower point values, especially going from, like 6,666 to 2,000. Feels like you're missing a lot. And, well, you'll get to see how I adapt in these next few battle reports. So sit back, relax, and get ready to see how this one goes.
Assemble the army!
Here's my list, and yeah, there's going to be some changes because it's only 2,000 points. I have my Tomb King, Lord Tremendous. He's still got a shield, Sword of Anti-Heroes, Armor of Destiny, Dragon Maid Gem, and the other Trickster's Shard, because I just really like that kit. Then I have a Master Necromancer, Queen Elizabeth, who's a level 4 wizard with the Scepter of Stability and the Lore of Vampires. That's right, I'm trying it out. And, well, you'll see. You'll see what I think of it by the end of this game, probably. My hero choices are another Necromancer, Dark Vincent, level 2 Wizard, Dispel Scroll, and the Lore of Undeath. Basically, I took a Necromancer instead of a Lich Priest because they're 5 points cheaper, and I needed points. I really did. And then I have my Necrotech, Sinister Jeffrey, with a Dragon Helm because I like Hatred and giving the kitty a 6-up regen, as long as he's within 12. My core choices are a unit of 13 Skeleton Archers, the Queen's Guard with full command and light armor, a unit of 3 Chariots, Rolling Bones with Banner Musician, Banner of Eternal Flame, and another unit of 3 Chariots, the Thunder, with Banner Musician. My special choices are my Chimerian War Sphinx, with Fiery Roar, and 38 Tomb Guard with Hand Weapon Shield. Trying them out, went Hand Weapon Shield because I have the models and I didn't have the extra 2 points a model to give them halberds. Although I am still toying around with the idea of giving them halberds or using Graveguard with great weapons. Haven't decided yet, but here's my first foray with Tomb Guard in an actual like small point army as opposed to one of the grand armies that I've been playing with. And then of course my rare choice is my Casket of Souls. I did not get my opponent's list. It was all handwritten. I was having trouble reading his handwriting anyway, and so I didn't get it. I'm sorry. Here are my spells, which are right in front of you. With one exception, I do not have Gaze and Nagash. I have Invocation of Nehek. I realized it after I took the picture. I do cast Invocation at some point during this game, and I don't want my more astute watchers to be like, you didn't have Invocation. I didn't have Gaze and Nagash, so now we're all on the same page. Here's deployment, and as you can see, it was we did some scenarios right out of book, and this was that angled deployment. That's why we're in such odd movements and stuff like that. Well, he is anyway. I'm kind of back in the middle there with the casket way over to the right so that he has trouble getting to it, unless he sent his general. As you can see, he does have a Empire character on a Griffin, so I backed off way back to the bottom there, relying on my magic and my shooting to do enough damage that when I do have to finally engage him, I should be in a good way. The kitty is back so that he can hit that detachment, hopefully in the flank, hopefully overrun into the horde break, and then do his kitty thing. Or, God willing, run into his general. That would be great. The steam tank, he's lined up right across from my Tomb Guard. I figured it would be a good test for him because if they could get into the tank, I could find out just how much damage they can take and just how much damage they can put out as compared to skeleton warriors. Other than that, the chariots are there on the flanks of the Tomb Guard just to try to back them up if they get charged or something like that. And then, of course, I have my archers with my casters in them because that's the perfect bunker. Here's my opponent's center. On the left side there's a swordsman, I think, hand weapon shield detachment. Right next to a horde brick of halberdiers. In the horde brick, I believe his BSB, a witch hunter, and a warrior priest are installed. Behind them is his general on a Imperial Griffin or whatever it is. And then, of course, next to that is the steam tank, because that's kind of obligatory. I don't know what Empire army wouldn't take them unless they were just demigriff heavy. And here's his left flank, which consists of, from right to left, a unit of handgunners with the upgrade sniper guy installed. In front of them is a unit of greatswords with his level 4 caster installed, and next to them is a volley gun with an engineer next to him. Here's my right flank, which consists of my casket and a unit of chariots. And here's my center, which has my Tomb Guard with Tomb King and Necrotech installed, my archers with both my necromancers in there, another unit of chariots, and my war kitty. Here's top of 1 after movement, and I didn't get to go first. I never get to go first, so whatever. But yeah, he does exactly what he should do. He comes at me, bro. Pretty much everybody comes firing forward, and that was okay because, you know, that was kind of what I expected. He was a little hesitant with his general, which is probably smart because I would have, if he got away from the BSB, I was going to Casket of Souls him as hard as I could. But other than that, yeah, he just pretty much comes straight forward. Obviously, his 2 ranged units, the Hellblaster and the Handgunners, stay right where they're at, which is to their detriment because they're both out of range, which I thought was great. Nothing happens in his magic phase. I'm able to dispel it. So in his shooting phase, his cannon can shoot straight forward. So it does, and blows away 1 Tomb Guard. It was just, it hit, and then it went into the dirt. So it hit 1 guy, and that was it. So that was kind of cool. Then, with no combat, we go over here to bottom of 1 after movement, and you're looking at it. I just kind of reposition a little bit. The kitty runs up a few inches. I was not within 12 of my generals, so the kitty could only move 6. So I moved him up, like, so that I could maybe flank charge a detachment if he wasn't paying attention. We were treating that burned out house as dangerous terrain and hard cover, but other than that, it was not impassable. My chariots on my right flank moved up slightly so I could shoot at the great swordsman, and that was it for my movement. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not true. The kitty tried to charge the detachment unit. I needed a 10. There were 16 away, and I didn't make it. I'm not disappointed with the kitty. It was a long shot charge, but I think I rolled like an 8, so I was really close. During the magic phase, the casket goes off. I just kind of threw a few other spells out that he dispelled, no problem. And with the last few dice I had, I got the casket spell to go off on his steam tank. And it worked out great because he took 2 wounds, which is good because now he's got a 1/3 chance of misfiring. And then during the shooting phase, the chariots on my left flank there take a shot at the detachment and get 1 of the guys, which is good because First Blood, well, no, First Blood went to him, but that's the first guy in a long list of dead guys, so I feel pretty good about that. It's got to start somewhere, right? So here we go over here to bottom of 2 after movement, and again the Empire guy comes forward a little bit. Not a ton. His great swords unit just kind of stays where it's at. His Hellblaster volley gun moves up because it's out of range. What other choice does it have? His steam tank kind of peters out a little bit, kind of slowly comes towards the chariots and the kitty on my left flank there. His halberdier guys kind of forget where they're going. He expected his steam tank to go further, I think, and kind of cock over to the right there, and well, my left anyway, and I guess to look at the war kitty, and the detachment kind of stays where it's at. It came forward a little bit, and that was pretty much it. For the most part, I think he kind of hesitates here, and I'm going to try to take advantage of that. During his magic phase, I'm able to stop everything but this 5-up ward save on the halberdier unit, which is fine. I wasn't planning on dealing with it until his next turn anyway, so okay, it'll work. With nothing else happening, we go over here to bottom of 2 after movement, and I figure why not. The War Kitty charges the detachment, which flees. I try to redirect into the halberdier unit, and I roll an 11, so screw that noise. We're going after the detachment, and I fail, and the Kitty makes it into the dangerous terrain, and he fails his dangerous terrain check. So Kitty takes a wound because he stumbles over the busted up house, because we were considering it dangerous terrain. The Tomb Guard slam into the flank of the steam tank, and that was just a target opportunity. I figured I could get a lot more attacks in its flank than I could in its front. If I didn't go after it, it was going to hit me or my chariots. Why not? So I did. I slammed them into there, and I'm going to rely on Lore Vampires to bring back any losses I might take. Other than that, my chariots, pretty much, they're already in range. They don't go anywhere. The archers move up a little bit because they want to stay within range of the Tomb Guard. And the casket, well, the casket doesn't move. There's a better picture of my Tomb Guard slamming into the tank, and that's just a target opportunity. And there's a better picture of the kitty stumbling around in the house. The detachment did flee, but unfortunately the kitty took a wound for his trouble. During the magic phase, I get Hellish Vigor off on my Tomb Guard, which is pretty nice. Pretty nice. I can reroll my wounds now, so I'm hoping to really damage up this tank somewhat. And then I get the casket off on his volley gun, and he rolls like a 17. So the volley gun explodes. The resulting panic check for the engineer, he fails, and he flees a good distance. He's almost off the table. As you can see, he's right there on the hill. So excellent, excellent. With that, nothing was within 6 inches, so the casket couldn't bounce or anything like that. But you know what? It had done its job. It got rid of that damn volley gun, and I feel really good about that. With nothing else in the shooting phase, we go into combat, and I'm able to slip another wound through on his steam tank. And with his grinds, I think he had D3. He had 1 steam point left or something like that. He was able to grind 1 of my Tomb Guard into dust. So 1-to-1, I win this combat, and he could care less. So we go over here to top of 3 after movement, and there's a little bit. For the most part, the only thing that happens is his general comes in front of the kitty to try to protect the unit. He thought I was going to go into his halberdier unit so he could countercharge with general, but you know, he's a newer player. I'm not going to say that, you know, he's a longtime veteran or anything like that, but I felt that the kitty could take out the griffin and then thunderstomp his little general to death. So I was fine with that. I was going to charge the hell out of his general. I would have been cooler had it not been a tournament, but it's a tournament. You're supposed to beat the crap out of your opponent. It's kind of the rule. So I didn't say anything about it, but yeah, I saw that and I was like, okay, well, he's going to learn stuff today. Other than that, the halberdier unit, it just kind of stays where it's at position so that he thinks his general can countercharge. His detachment rallies. The greatswords come up a little bit, not enough that I could charge him easily with the chariots, but enough that he's encroaching on my territory. And the handgunner unit kind of stays where they're at. Oh, and the engineer rallies as well. There's a better picture of his detachment rallying. During the movement phase, he grinds the hell out of my Tomb Guard because that's when he's supposed to grind, and it kind of works out for him. In combat, I'm able to slip another wound through on the steam tank as well. After all is said and done, I win combat, but that's what it looks like. With all that said and done, we go over here to bottom of 3 after movement, and I go. The kitty charges a general and makes it and passes dangerous terrain check. My chariots on my left flank move forward so that I can charge the halberdier unit just in case. The archers move up as well to stay close to the Tomb Guard, as well as get into range of his halberdier unit for like cuirassiers and stuff like that. And then, of course, my other unit of chariots, they back up slightly because I don't want that greatsword unit to surprise me with an insane charge. Other than that, everything is as you see it. There's a better picture of the kitty slamming into the general, and the plan here is to kill the griffin and thunderstomp the general. That was the hope. During the magic phase, I get invocation and a heck off, and I roll a 6, so 10 models come back. The unit's back up to full strength. I like invocation. You guys were so right. Really, really like invocation. That was, oh, wow. D6 plus 4 guys came back. That was insane. Yeah. Okay, so Lore of Vampires is going to be a staple. You guys win. And then just to exclamation point that, I get cuirassiers off on his halberdier unit. I put a wound on his BSB, and I take out about 4 or 5 of his halberdier guys, which, needing 6s, that's not terrible. And he had a witch hunter, so he had magic res, so it was pretty good. It was pretty good. Then over here in combat, the steam tank's out of steam points, so I just get some free hits at him. His little dude on top did swing away, but he missed. I'm able to slip another wound through, so this thing is now half dead. So I've got a few more turns to pull this off. I think I can get to tank before the end of the game. During the combat phase over here, the kitty. Oh, how can you not love the kitty? He kills the general. Just their attacks alone, I'm able to destroy his the griffin. I did have to use my flaming breath to do it, but that's fine. That's what it's for. And then thunderstomps, I was able to finish off the captain. So the unit dies. The detachment and the halberdier unit take panic checks. The detachment passes with snake eyes, like insane courage all day. The halberdier unit rolls an 11 and an 11 and flees like 8. So it was a decent flee. So not only did the kitty kill the general, but he knocked his halberdier horde brick out of the running for a turn. That was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And then the coup de grace. The kitty overruns into the detachment that passed its panic check. If that went any better, I'd have just received 50 bucks. That was outstanding. Long live the kitty. So fresh off the victory, we go over here to top of 4 after movement, and as you can see, there's been a little bit. The halberdier unit rallies and turns to face the kitty, but he does so in such a way that he kind of screws himself. The detachment is blocking his charge currently. It's a hard wheel. It's a very hard wheel. Other than that, the steam tank generates some points. It does misfire or whatever. He rolls and he rolls like an 8 and he's only got 5 wounds left, so he misfires, but it's the one where he adds D3 steam points, but he takes D3 wounds, and it was 3, so now it has 8 wounds on it, but it's able to grind 5 of my Tomb Guard, which is fine. I have Tomb Guard to lose. His greatsword unit moves forward right after my chariots. He doesn't even care if they charge him anymore. He needs points and he knows it. So yeah, he comes forward. Other than that, his sniper is in range, so he doesn't move his handgunners, and the engineer is useless, so he's going to stay right there and just covet those points. There's a better picture of the misfire of the steam tank. He's got, I think after the grinds, he had 5 steam points left, and he had 8 wounds on him. So the steam tank is doing my job for me, which is nice. And there's a better picture of the halberd unit rallying, which is expected. During the magic phase, he gets Shem's Burning Gaze off on my chariots. He finally got it off. And he rolled a 3, and he rolled 2 1s and a 4. So he was able to do 1 wound to my chariots, which was unfortunate. That's just bad dice rolling, and not my opponent's fault. He did the right thing. It's just unfortunately the dice didn't get the memo. Then over here, he completely forgot about Curse of Years, and so his Witch Hunter takes a wound, and another like 5 or 6 halberdier guys die. So I really like Curse of Years on these big units. I see the appeal of Lore of Vampires now. I apologize for taking so long. Then over here, the kitty in combat is able to take out most of the unit. I don't have Flaming Breath anymore, so I'm just relying on my rolls. I flub slightly, but not so bad that I'm upset about it. I still win this combat. They're steadfast, and they don't go anywhere. And then over here, I'm not able to put any more wounds through on this guy, but I do take 4 wounds for my trouble. With 2 ranks and a standard and a flank to 4 wounds, I have a musician. I win, nobody cares, and the combat continues. So we go over here to bottom of 4 after movement, and yeah. As you can see, it's just, yeah. I go in. My chariots on the right flank there slam into the great swords, and the entire purpose there was to assassinate the level 4. I had no delusions that they were going to kill off the great swords. I wanted to take out his caster. I made sure that 2 chariots were in base to base with the character. I knew it was a lord, so I figured if I could do 3 wounds, impact hits might just keep these guys in there for an extra turn if if I need it. But if I can get the caster, everything else is gravy. And if you've ever met me, I like gravy. Other than that, my chariots moved up on the left flank to countercharge the halberdiers if they hit my war kitty, because the way I figured it is if they hit the war kitty, they'll probably kill it with combat res, which sucks, but I should be able to hit them with my chariots, do 3d6 strength for impact hits, maybe take out a couple characters, maybe break them in combat before the chariots get destroyed, and with a little luck, the Tomb Guard will take out the steam tank before too much longer and finish off what's left of the halberdiers. You know, beggars can't be choosers. I am kind of hoping here, but that was the plan. That was it. And, of course, I still have my casket over there getting ready to just sling hot fire at them. There's a better picture of my chariots slamming into the great swords on their assassination mission of doom. During the magic phase, I get Invocation off once again on my Tomb Guard and heal them all up. I really, really like that spell. So nice. And I'm able to get Hellish Vigor off on the Tomb Guard as well, so that maybe I can finally finish off this damn steam tank. I am wounding him a lot, but he's still got a 3-up armor against my Tomb King and a 2-up armor against all the Tomb Guard wounds, so he's making a lot of armor saves. He's actually failed a few, obviously, but yeah, I'm doing my best, alright? Get off my back. Then he tries again over here to dispel this Curse of Years, and he fails. He rolls an 11, and he needed a 12. And it goes off again, and as you can see, every single character has at least one wound on him, and a bunch of halberdiers are dead. I mean, I'm wounding him on like 3s right now, or something like that. 3s or 4s, it's a little ridiculous. I feel bad, but it is what it is, and you know, it's a tournament, so I got to keep going with it. Then over here in combat, the kitty kills another 5 of these swordsmen, which is pretty good. He takes a wound for his trouble, but I still win this combat, no problem. They're still steadfast, though, and they stick it out. Then over here, I can't find the soft spots. I do a lot of wounds. I do like 6 or 7 wounds, but he makes all of his armor saves, so what can you do? Sometimes steam tanks just don't want to fall apart. Then over here, I'm able to put 2 wounds through on his little caster. I kill 4 or 5 of the greatsword guys. I win this combat barely, but in the end, I end up losing a chariot, and another one's carrying a wound they didn't have before they charged in there. But I think I can finish off the caster. Just wasn't able to slip that last wound through. Just some piss poor rolling on my part. But he's got 2 wounds on him. I've got another couple of attacks coming from, well, another 4 attacks coming from the riders, and a 1 chariot's in base space with him. I'm hoping to slip that last wound through before the chariots get obliterated, so we'll see. And then we go over here to top of 5 after movement, and there's a little bit. His halberdier unit maneuvers a little bit to try to. He saw what the chariots were trying to do, and so he turned to face the chariots. He couldn't charge into my war kitty because the swordsman guys were still blocking the way. Just the way the angles were and stuff, there was no way for him to get in there, which kind of sucked. Well, for him, for me, it's great. And that's really about it. His handgunners and his engineers stay on the hill. There's everything else he has is deader in combat. During his magic phase, or during his what's it called, movement phase, when he was generating steam points, he misfired again. But it was the, I think, miscast 6 or misfire 6, where it vents steam into the units next to him, and I end up getting one of my tomb guard, clam baked, which is really kind of funny, I guess. And then in the magic phase, nothing happens. He tries to dispel the spell again and fails again. He had like 4 dice. He rolled really poorly for his wins of magic. He did try to get some spells off too, and he just couldn't. So he had like 3 or 4 dice left, and I figured it was a sure thing, and he rolled like 4 ones. It was ridiculous bad luck. It wasn't even close. I mean, I'm wounding him on 3s at this point, and as you can see, the warrior priest dies, the BSB is still alive, the witch hunter is still alive, but most of the unit is just completely gutted. And yeah, that's got to be the best casting of Curse of Years to date for Lord Tremendous. So I feel pretty good about that, I won't lie. During the shooting phase, the sniper finally got a hold of my Hierophant and, my level 4 Master Necromancer, I apologize, and put a wound on her, hit her, wounded her. She doesn't have anything, so yeah, she's got a big gaping hole where her face used to be, but she's got 2 wounds left, so I don't think she's dead yet. And then we go over here into combat, and my chariots do get obliterated, but before they do, I'm able to get the last wound through on his level 4 and kill him very softly, because I'm a gentleman. And the remaining 15 or so greatsword guys just kind of reformed to look over at my tomb guard. But, yep, mission accomplished. I did have to sacrifice my chariots to do it, but now his magic phase is completely gone, and I feel pretty good about that. Then over here in combat, the grind attacks take out 4 of my tomb guard. I'm able to slip 1 more wound through on the steam tank. He's got 1 left, and I've got, 3 rounds of combat left to take it out? I think I've got it. I'm hoping that I got it, so that's cool. And then over here, I flub quite a bit. He makes some parry saves too, which is bad. And in the end, 2 of these little swordsman guys are still alive, but they don't break, which kind of sucks. Yeah, I really would have preferred them to break. But they didn't. He made his break check, and what can you do? Can't fault the guy for rolling well, right? So, with all the fun said and done, we go over here to bottom of 5 after movement, and really, my chariots go into the halberdier unit because they should be able to finish that off. If they get murderized, that's fine, but I'm pretty sure they can finish off the halberdier unit. There's really nothing left. Other than that, the archers pretty much stay where they are, and I'm not moving the casket. So, yeah, everything's in combat. There's a better picture of my chariot slamming into his halberdier unit, and that should do it. 3d6, strength 4, that should do it. During the magic phase, I get this unit back up to full power. Invocation, Van Hel's, and Hellish Vigor. With his level 4 dead, I'm literally running the magic phase now. So that unit's ready to go. Rerolling hits, rerolling wounds. If that stank doesn't die this turn, it was meant to live by the gods. What can you do?
Then over here, again, in the magic phase, the casket goes off, and 6 great swords die. They do not panic, but it's ridiculous how much you can run the magic phase with a level 4 when he's got no magic defense left. And then over here, I flub again, and there's 1 swordsman guy left, which sucks, and he makes his break check because he didn't lose by much. And yeah. But then we go over here into combat, and my chariots, after all is said and done, they do remarkably well. They kill a ton of the halberdiers. They break, they get run down, and that's exactly where my chariots end up. So the old men are dealt with. And then over here in combat, the final wound is finally put through on the steam tank, and it's put out of my misery. So that's awesome. And then my guys turn to face because I see great swords, and I don't want to catch that in the rear. Just not my thing. So we go over here to top of 6 after movement, and my opponent, with really nothing else to do, charges into the Tomb Guard and makes it. You know, he knew it was futile, he knew it was pointless, but he likes combat as much as I do, so he charged him in, and that worked out. Also, his handgun unit up there, my chariots were just barely in the forward arc. I shouldn't say barely, there was a solid corner that he could see, but he was able to charge, he was in my flank, and he rolled boxcars, and he made it. So the handgunner unit runs into the remaining 2 chariots, and that was unexpected, but it is what it is, so can't blame him for making a good call, right? There's been a picture of the great swords valiantly sacrificing their lives to the Tomb Guard because reasons. And there's another picture of the handgunners taking a incredible charge into the flank of my chariots and making it, so very impressed. Nothing happens in magic or shooting, so we go into combat, and the kitty finally eats the last little swordsman guy. But what a trooper, huh? I mean, 1 remaining guy facing down the kitty that took out his general, and dude stood strong until he got devoured, which was probably horrible. But yeah, definitely a good fight. I enjoyed that. Then over here in combat, before the greatswords even get a chance to attack, I kill every single one of them, because I'm really starting to like Tomb Guard. Yeah, there were a lot of killing blows, and just... -1, he had 5 up armors, but there were just so many wounds done by these guys before the greatswords could even attack. It was devastating. Then over here, he flubs a bit. All of his guys attack before I do, and after combat res and everything like that, I have my chariot left with 1 wound, and I killed 2 of his little guys. So he definitely won his combat, but if he hadn't flubbed, he should have vaped the unit. But he probably still will. There's only a chariot left. So we go over here to bottom of 6 after movement, and the Tomb Guard just move up to get the Tomb King in there, you know, just in case, and to bring the Necrotech within 12 inches of the kitty, just in case. The archers move up 4 inches, because why not? And the kitty charges into the flank of the handgunners to try to save the chariot. Because it's a tournament, I want points, you know, that's really all it is. There's a better picture of the kitty slamming into the handgunners. The hope is to save the chariot, but I think he gets to attack before all the rest of my stuff, or at the same time as the Initiative 3 Tomb Guard guys. So more than likely the chariots are still dead, but in case, the kitty is going to try to finish them off so they can't savor their victory. And that's exactly what happens. I skip my magic phase and I go straight into combat. I know. I could have invocation the chariots back up. I know. But did it really matter? I mean, come on. There was a chance I was going to vape my caster with a miscast and all that other stuff. It just wasn't worth it. So we go into combat immediately, and sure enough, the chariot gets popped, which is fine. And then the kitty decimates the rest of the unit with just all my attacks hit, and the Thunderstomp was brutal. I think there's like 1 or 2 guys left, and they break. And they get run down. So there you go. The kitty actually overran so far, he almost ran into the engineer, which is hilarious. But there it is, guys and gals. There's the end of the game. And as you can see, there is an abundance of death on the table. And 1 itty-bitty engineer all the way up there on the hill. And he's wondering about his life choices right now, which is understandable, I gotta be honest. But all in all, this went really well. 2,000 points. I still felt awkward about playing. It felt like I was forgetting something. I didn't have my Stalkers, so turn 2, I kept looking around. I didn't have my Titan, so every time I was casting a spell, I was like, do I do D3? No, I can't do D3. I don't have a Titan. I don't like it. It feels hollow. Ugh. But obviously, it worked out. My opponent did make some mistakes, in my opinion. But he's a newer player. Of course, he's going to make some mistakes. But he also did some smart things, too. Had a lot of good overcharges and stuff, or long-distance charges. And it was fun. It was definitely a good time. But you know what? We'll get to the recap in a second, because right now, this game is over.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Hey guys, you know these tokens, you've seen them 100 times, and you know what? Every time you see them, if you haven't bought them yet, you're just wasting time. Get these tokens. All of the lores of whatever spell you're casting, all the wound counters. You see me use them in every single game, and you've never heard me since I've been using the counters going, I can't remember how many wounds I had, or what spell was on this guy, or whatever. And they're flawless. They're awesome. You're the envy of everyone you play against. Send Token Gal an email. Get these tokens. They're dirt cheap, but they're solid gold quality, guys. I'm telling you, you cannot go wrong. A lot of people have already ordered them, and nobody's returned any. Nobody's even asked to return any. All they do is they order more. Get yours. Get them soon. You're wasting time, and these are totally worth it. Tell her Tremendous sent you. Hey guys, I got another great deal for you. Movement trays. We all use them. We all need them. If you're watching this report, you have some or you need some. And do I have the vendor for you? This guy makes solid metal movement trays. I mean, cuts them to your specifications using a galvanized metal. It's not that cheap, thin, weak aluminum. This stuff is sturdy. I'm using them. I used them all throughout this game. Take a look at the pictures. They're all in there. I love these trays. They're metal, so they auto-magnetize. Well, provided you put magnets on your guys. And he does them dirt cheap, guys. I'm telling you. He's got an eBay page. There's an email on here. Get a hold of this guy. Get yourself some movement trays and get yourself organized. You're going to be thrilled. You can paint them. You can do everything. These things are awesome. My local game store guy is literally in contact with this guy so that he can become a vendor. That's how high quality these things are. So I'm telling you guys, give this guy an email. Check out his eBay page. Get yourself some movement trays and stop playing like a Neanderthal. Tell him Tremendous sent you. You won't regret it. Yeah, that's right. I don't know if you were paying attention or not, but we got a few new pictures. So not only does Unleashed Wargaming paint amazing models for commission and stuff like that, send him an email. He does excellent work, as you've seen from the pictures. Not only does he do all the different Magic lore cards for Warhammer Fantasy, I mean every lore. You want Storms of Magic? Send him an email. You want Lore of Fire? Send him an email. You want every lore that's ever been out in 8th edition? Send him an email. These things are solid. They're laminated. They're on cardstock. They're Photoshop made. They're amazing. And they're good. They're well priced, guys. I'm telling you. And now he's also doing 40K cards. The psychic stuff or whatever. I don't play 40K, but if you do, there's nothing wrong with that. But there is something wrong with it if you don't get these cards and if you don't have your models painted by them. Just throwing it out there. Just, you may, if you feel guilty, that's because you know you're wrong. But send this guy an email, get your models looking good, get the cards that you need, get your real game going, and tell him Tremendous sent you. You're not going to regret it. So, yep, it was a victory for Lord Tremendous. I ended up getting 2,210 points out of him. He ended up getting 430 out of me for a difference of 1,780. I ended up losing both units of my chariots, and the Empire lost everything but an engineer. I just couldn't get a hold of that little bastard. But everything really came together for my army. Everything just went perfect. My opponent rolled low when I needed him to. He rolled high when I needed him to. It was just, he was a giver, and I respect that. Curse of Years on his Halberd unit pretty much won me the game. He forgot about it one turn, and then every time he tried to dispel it after that, his dice just would not roll average. They rolled so low that the spell kept going off. So yeah,
there it is. There it is. But really unfortunate, not his fault. Like, he did forget about it once, and who hasn't? But after that, he tried to get rid of it every single time. And by the time he finally did dispel it in the last phase, the halberdier unit got destroyed by my chariot charge, got ran down. So what could he do? You know, it was a perfect storm of unfortunate events for him, and worked out great for me. And, you know, I'm on my team, so what can I tell you? My war kitty on against his general on a griffin. And the kitty, not only did he obliterate the griffin and thunderstomp the character to death, and then overrun into the detachment, he didn't take one wound from doing it. My kitty is the best kitty in the world. I love that model so much. Super kitty. Just unbelievable how awesome that is. Not to mention, not only the kitty, but the casket was pissed this game. Was just tearing up everything. 2 wounds on the damn tank, and then another 6 wounds or something like that on the great swords. After that first round where the tank took 2 wounds, my opponent was throwing Dispel Dice at that spell alone, allowing me to get everything else off. So, yeah, God, I love the casket. Really, really cool. Not thrilled at 2,000 points, to be perfectly honest. Like I've said already, I enjoy 2,200 plus. I know it's only 200 more. I know it's a mental thing, but it's just the way I like it. You know, I don't like playing low point games, and 2,000 is low for me. It just feels like I'm missing stuff. It feels like I should have more. Maybe that could be because I'm using Tomb Guard now instead of a brick of Skeleton Warriors. But the Tomb Guard, whoo-hoo, I'm really enjoying that unit. Strength 4, Toughness 4, you know, the Chaos Warrior stats. Hell, with the Tomb King in there, their weapon skill 6, they're better than friggin' Chaos Warriors. But, well, with the exception of the armor save, of course, and the initiative. But, man, do I enjoy using the Tomb Guard. Probably going to keep using them. I might toy with halberds if I can figure out the points. I might toy with Graveguard with great weapons if I can figure out the points, you know, with the banner. I haven't decided yet. I don't know what I want to do. But definitely want to use Tomb or Graveguard in some fashion, probably as the spine of my army, as opposed to Skeleton Warriors that honestly kind of suck. I mean, sometimes they do really well, but usually it's just because I'm rolling out of the box. The Tomb Guard, I was rolling average, and they went up against the Steam Tank, and I know Invocation resurrected like 25 of the damn guys, but it was an amazing performance by them, and Lore of Vampires has definitely taken my breath away. That was amazing. So yeah, expect to see more of that in my armies from now on. And I know a lot of you have been saying that for a while. I finally got around to trying it out, and yes, you were right. Thank you. But as always, this is a really good game. This is a really good opponent, and I would love to get a rematch when he's ready. It's always fun to play against Empire. But as always, guys, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, feel free to put them down in the comment section below, and I'll get back to you as quick as I can. That's going to do it for this battle report number 199. Expect a massive, huge, long battle report for number 200 when I unleash 12,000 points aside for a total of 24,000 points on the table for battle report 200. That's right. This game took 10 hours for us to play. It's me versus 3 opponents, and it is amazingly fun. And yeah, I think you guys are going to enjoy it. At the very minimum, you're going to enjoy seeing like 15 grand worth of models on the table. So yeah, that's something to look forward to. And of course, I'll finish up the last 2 games of this after that. But yeah, guys, that's going to do it for me on this one. Thanks!